it's very interesting the way a lot of libertarians do react to voting at all. And
Mhm.
it's almost as if in some weird way they buy into the same principle that statists do. And like I remember there was this one time, this many years ago, I was on a Fox News, I was on Kennedy, and Julie Radzinski, who's like a Democratic strategist, she at one point, like I forget what it was, but it was like I criticized Hillary Clinton, and then she was like, "Oh, so you must love Donald Trump?" You know, the typical thing libertarians are used to getting. And I was like, "No, I actually don't like him either." And she was like, "Wait, so who did you vote for?" And I was like, "I didn't vote." And she goes, "This is all on air." And she goes, "Well, if you don't vote, then you can't complain." And I was like, "Really? Because I'm about to." So like
Perfect.
that's like it's an empirical claim, and I'm about to demonstrate that that's not true. And every libertarian recognizes immediately like how ridiculous that is. But then they almost apply the inverse when they find out like you're voting for one of the major party candidates. Like, oh, well, now you're responsible for all of and it's like all of this is so ridiculous. It's like, look, from libertarian first principles, you can deduce that like we're under duress. We are we're forced into a false binary where that shouldn't exist, but one of these two people is going to be president, and it's completely reasonable for libertarians to say, I find one of them to be slightly preferable to the other one, so I'm going to throw a vote their way and see what ends up coming of all of that. So that was kind of just I found it to be
Yeah.
very interesting watching like how libertarians implicitly like conceptualize what voting is, as if this means it's like a full endorsement of everything that this
Yeah.
person has ever done or said or whatever they will do in the future, rather than what it really is, which is essentially a strategic guess. You're
Well,
kind of going like,
this is the thing that's, like, wrinkled me so much in the aftermath of my scandalous Trump vote, which has been the number of people who respond to me constantly on Twitter or YouTube or whatever and say, "You voted for this," whenever I'm criticizing a Trump policy, and it's like, yes, I voted for this candidate extremely reluctantly, but I didn't endorse every single thing that he would end up doing, and wouldn't you, in fact, rather have people who will vote for a candidate and then still retain their independence and their ability to, critically assess each specific policy that this president puts forth and then is able to call balls and strikes and say, "This policy is good. This policy is not aligned with my values." Like, it's confusing to me, and especially for a journalist to do that. Like, it's confusing to me what they want. Do they want me to vote for Trump and then become like a MAGA-tard Trump
right.
sycophant and just, be super, super excited, about every single thing his administration does? Like, would they feel better served by me doing that? I wouldn't feel good by me doing that. I feel much better about saying, "Look, I made an educated guess. So far, I don't really like how the guess is working out. It's not really aligned with my values and beliefs." As a libertarian, I consistently feel like there's no good option available to me. And you know what? The only thing I can do as a journalist for the next 4 years is try to be honest, about what is good, what is bad, and what I know and what I don't know about what Trump's doing.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
double down on that. Yeah, I was
Sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
gonna say, I mean, I'm just amazed. I've known people for decades who will come at me with and it's clear that they kind of live at the intersection of tribalism and retardation, because it's a matter of being. They insist that you be all in. You're either entirely on Team Red or entirely on Team Blue, and you can't. And they're angry at me. They're furious because I write some columns that say, "Yeah, I think Doge is a good idea, and let's go to the Department of Education." And then I write a piece saying, "No, Trump's way over the top with executive actions, and his trade policy is insane." So, yeah, the tribalism, the insistence that political identity is a be all and end all. And actually, this is a good way to riff and say this. I've seen recently two studies, one from 2017 from Stanford, another from political psychology published recently. Both said that now political identity overshadows race and ethnicity as a matter of personal identification and a source of interpersonal animus in this country. So, yeah, people live at this kind of intersection of, and I'll say it again, of retardation and tribalism, and they insist that you go all in on this identity instead of saying, the vote worked out or the vote didn't work out, and I think I'll just be critical of the policy, the action, the politician rather than the candidate.
Yeah, let me triple down on that and say that I think that the more people can avoid letting a vote warp their brain, the better off we will all be. I've increasingly come to view it as just like harm reduction type of thing, where it's
Oh.
like, whoever wins, this is not going to be good for America, but is there a choice that is going to be less harmful for America? And if the answer to that is no, then you can not vote. That was my decision. Hey, that was a clip from Just Asking Questions. You can watch another one here or the full episode here. And please subscribe to our brand new channel to get us started off right and be notified when new episodes or clips go up. Thanks for watching.